Hello and welcome to this episode of Carmen's Coaching Corner. I am delighted to have with me this, for the first video of 2019, Amanda Petersen of Pathways of Grace is a guest on my show today. So this video is going to run about 15-20 minutes. If it runs longer, just letting you know, listen to this in the car if you don't have time to listen to this at home. But anyway, so I just want to tell you a little bit about Amanda. And then we're going to have a really fun, hopefully fun conversation with each other. So Amanda's passion is to create a space where each person can listen deeply with wisdom within. As life continually unfolds, it is so important to have others to walk alongside us. She's the founder of Pathways of Grace and has experience as a spiritual director, soul-centered life coach, pastor, hospice chaplain, feng shui, I don't even know if I'm saying that right. How do you say that, Amanda?
Feng shui.
Feng shui practitioner. My stepdaughter is always correcting me. Practitioner, writer, and artist. And she does amazing artwork, by the way. I've seen it. Amanda has been practicing spiritual direction for over 22 years and has been a coach for 10 years. And one of the reasons I wanted Amanda on my coaching corner is I love your wisdom. You know, every time you and I have a conversation, I always go away like I've learned something new, and I just love your calming energy. And you just have that, you really do have an ability to listen so deeply, and I think that's one of your key traits and skills and experience that you bring to everyone that you serve, and I just really appreciate that about you.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Very nice. Thank you. I'll make sure my daughter and granddaughter know I'm very wise. Yes.
So what I would love for you to tell us about is the intention that you set with people that deep listen, because it's me. You'd like to talk about the importance of listening with intention in the conversation.
Yeah.
I really want to learn more about that and how you can help others do that too.
Okay, great. Well, what I'm finding, especially in the environment that we're in right now, where so many people are divided, or you're wondering, how do I sit across from Uncle Joe, who I love, who's part of my family, but we're on the opposite sides of the fence, so to speak, with so much that's going on. How do I be with Uncle Joe, not lose my voice, and not objectify him, and not like him anymore, or not want to be around him anymore? And learning how to listen with intention is the key. And that's a lot of what I walk with people with, is teaching them how to not only listen to Uncle Joe, but listen to themselves. It always starts with what's going on in your own head.
Exactly. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Because we have so many filters that we listen with, right, when we're having a conversation with somebody else, and those filters can really impact how that conversation goes, right? The language that we use. I love the fact that you said objectify. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that piece of it?
Yeah, well, we come in with certain prejudices, whether we're aware of it or not, we do. And so the moment that Uncle Joe becomes the conservative one, or the liberal one, or the one who, then all of a sudden they're objectified. We have added a prejudice, and poor Uncle Joe can't break that prejudice. Only we can, by shifting our own thoughts about Uncle Joe. Uncle Joe may be conservative, or maybe whatever it is we're thinking, but it's the energy that we bring that really makes a difference.
It does. And so what would you say is a good way that people can start to learn these skills on listening intentionally and understanding when they're putting a label on the other person and their points of views and things like that? How can they go about?
Well, the first step is to know that you label everybody. Yeah. There is nobody you don't label, right?
I labeled you when I was describing you, right? Did you notice that?
Yeah, exactly.
Labeled you.
We do it.
Right.
It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just what our brain do. So the place to start is to recognize that you do it and start paying attention. Okay, so if I do label, what are those labels? right?
Right.
And then the second part is, do you really want to have the conversation with the person? Get honest about that, because you may think you want to have a good relationship with Uncle Joe, but maybe you really don't.
Right.
So you've got to have the desire to really want to have the conversation. And then the third part would be curious.
I love that.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really get curious. So why is Uncle Joe saying what Uncle Joe's saying? Right? Be willing to learn from Uncle Joe.
Yeah.
Can I learn anything? You might not, it's not about coming to agreement, but it's learning how to have the conversation.
Exactly. And when I do one of my talks, one of my fundamentals in that talk is to be curious.
Yeah, I
right?
love that about you. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So that you help yourself kind of remove labels that you may be placing, or filters that you may be placing on the other individual or the situation or the experience that you're having at that given time, and just question everything, right?
Yeah.
Approach it with questions like, why is that person having that point of view? Or why, what's their programming that's making them say those things? What's their background? What's their history? What's their culture? And the more you stay in that curious mode, I think really helps you to kind of not get stressed out about being triggered by that other person. What do you think about that?
Yeah, and that's also what I find is people's hardest step is they don't want to be curious. Even if you want to be, there is a real stumbling block, because what we really want is for Uncle Joe to get us. Right? And if we're really honest, that's right. At least that's what I bump up into is, yeah, but they're still not getting me. They're still not seeing my point of view. See, we still want that recognition.
Yeah.
And so being curious feels like you're not doing anything.
Right. But I love that you just made me think of that phrase, and I can't remember who said it right now, but it was something like, seek first to understand, then to be understood.
Yes.
Right. And if you have that kind of phrase playing in your head, especially when you're confronted with Uncle Joe, right, who is very different to you, or you just can't agree with, or whatever it might be, if you just remember, okay, I need to understand this person first, and then that can help you get in that be curious frame of mind, because then you start to question, and not question in a judgmental manner, but it's like just kind of trying to get behind the curtain, if you like, of what they're saying.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
When I say that?
Yeah, exactly. And you can flip it around to yourself, so that if you're having trouble getting to that place of curiosity, then be curious about yourself.
Right.
Wonder, why am I not wanting to get along with Uncle Joe? Why do I want to be heard?
Right.
Right? And then start getting curious about yourself. What's missing in your life that you don't feel validated or heard, or you need to have your point come across? So flip it around.
I love that you said that. That's so key, to be able to turn the tables on yourself and just point the finger back at you.
Yes.
Okay, what is it about this conversation that I need to understand?
Yeah.
Right? What is it about me that I'm trying to learn right now, that I need to learn right now?
Yeah.
And that's hard to do.
Very
hard. That's so hard to do. So you clearly have programs and courses that you teach others to help them with this whole skill set, because for me, I think this is really a massive skill set that you need to learn and you need to acquire, especially if, like you were saying, it's really hard for you to kind of take a step back and be curious in the first place. Right. Having that self-awareness that I could do better at this, right? I could improve my relationships if I just listened differently, right? And I shifted my mindset and my perspective on what I'm hearing, right? So can you tell me a little bit about what you offer in terms of helping people get there?
Yeah, so within my own personal practice, that's what I do, is I provide the space. And I think one of the things to know is to create that safe space for people to be able to do it, because this is not an innate skill. right?
Right.
And it's also a scary skill because you're being vulnerable, you're being out there, you're doing something it's not normal for you to do, all of that. So creating a safe space. So I do that in two different ways with helping people notice their belief systems, because that runs a lot of the prejudices, and understanding what's operating you.
Right.
So,
programming system,
yes,
right?
exactly, exactly. So we spend time with that. And then I also do more of a goal-centered type of coaching practice. And then we have trainings in teaching people how to do this, so that you're in a group with other people also learning how to do this. What I love about being part of Pathways of Grace is that we have all these different practitioners like Carmen that are here to also create that safe space so that you can listen to your business, you can listen to your body, you can listen to your health, you can listen to relationships. We've got so many different people here that just want to create the environment for you to be able to develop those skills. So I love that.
Yeah. I think it's extremely fitting that you're my first person on my this style of Carmen's coaching corner, because you really are the matriarch of Pathways of Grace. I mean, and we as practitioners get to use this space. And all the clients that I've seen here, and this is kind of, I know, a shameless plug for Pathways of Grace, but everyone that's walked through the doors here have really commented on the energy that they get from the place, how calming it is, and that they really can close the door and just have that time to focus on themselves, and they really do feel like this space is for them.
Yeah.
And that's really because of you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, as I said, you need a safe place to do this. I'm really passionate about people feeling comfortable to be who they are. One of our main tenets here is not to come to consensus. So we're not here under one belief system that everybody has to buy into. Again, because you can learn how to listen when you're not coming to consensus. Exactly. So that's the exciting part, to learn how to listen in the dis-ease. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, that's somebody who doesn't agree with me. How do I sit with that? Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and just getting in your discomfort zone somewhat, right?
Yeah.
To be able to, that's where the magic happens, right? That's where the growth occurs. It's when you are in that discomfort zone. And it just expands you. I think but your ability to have the courage and the desire to do that is huge for you. You're not going to be the same person after experiencing these programs, right? Especially the ones that you offer.
Right.
You're not going to be the same person. You'll be totally different. Mm-hmm. So is there any other words of wisdom, Amanda, that you would like
Well,
to
I
share?
just want to emphasize that this happens every day. Yeah. It's not just getting into political disagreements or religious disagreements or ideological disagreements. This happens at the dinner table. Because you can have somebody who's vegan with somebody who's on a paleo diet, with somebody who's just, carbing it up all over the place, and everybody's got a different food system now. And so just sitting around the table gives you an opportunity to practice this. So it's not necessarily just heady stuff. This is everyday life.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, think about the water cooler conversations that you have at work.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody has a different opinion about X, Y, Z, right? So your ability to be able to listen and be curious, listen with intention, and not continually label things or put prejudice on that, really can expand that whole conversation. I mean, I just challenge you to just try it. Just try it. Just give it a go with one conversation today and see what happens. See what happens to you, particularly. See what's going on inside in your head and your heart, and see how your thoughts change or your emotions change once you've given that a go. Just listening with intention.
Yeah.
So, Amanda, how can people get hold of you? How can people connect with Pathways of Grace?
You can go to our website at www.pathwaysofgrace.com. And that's the best way to connect with us.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. And on that website, there's all the classes and the events that Pathways is holding. So to end this, I always love to say to my audience, and thank you again, Amanda, for taking the time to be with me today. To your success, and in love and light, as always, Carmen and Amanda.